Imagine a society that emphasizes direct democracy, ecology, and gender equality. Does this sound utopian or achievable? This is the vision of democratic confederalism. Now you may be wondering, what exactly is democratic confederalism? It is a political theory and practice that seeks to create a society where power is decentralized and held by the people. It's a system that is built on the pillars of collective decision-making, ecological sustainability, and gender equality. A system where every voice matters, where the environment is not an afterthought but a central concern, and where women and men stand equal in all aspects of life. This concept might seem like a far-off dream, but it's a dream that has been carefully thought out, formulated, and even implemented in parts of the world. It's the brainchild of Abdullah Öcalan, a Kurdish leader, who envisioned a society that is fundamentally different from the hierarchical and centralized systems that dominate much of the world today. In democratic confederalism, power is not held by a distant central government, but by the people in their local communities. It's about bringing democracy to the grassroots level, where everyone has a say in the decisions that affect their lives. It's about recognizing that our actions have an impact on the environment and making a conscious effort to minimize harm and maximize sustainability. And it's about ensuring that men and women have equal opportunities, equal representation, and equal rights. Democratic confederalism is a radical departure from traditional political structures. It challenges the status quo and asks us to reimagine what a society could look like. It asks us to imagine a place where the power is with the people, where the earth is cared for, and where gender equality is not just an ideal, but a reality. Intriguing, isn't it? So where did this idea originate and how did it evolve? The seeds of democratic confederalism were sown by Abdullah Öcalan in the late 20th century. Let's delve into that a bit more, shall we? Abdullah Öcalan, a key figure in the Kurdish movement, is often considered the architect of democratic confederalism. His journey towards this political ideology began in the late 20th century, during a time of intense political turmoil and unrest. Öcalan's political leanings were initially rooted in Marxism-Leninism, but his ideology evolved over time, particularly during his imprisonment in Turkey, which began in 1999. His incarceration provided him with a unique perspective and ample time for reflection, which he used to develop and refine his political philosophy. It was during his imprisonment that Öcalan was exposed to the works of Murray Bookchin, an American social theorist, historian, and political philosopher. Bookchin's ideas on social ecology and libertarian municipalism had a profound influence on Öcalan. He found the principles of social ecology, which advocates for a society that is in harmony with nature, particularly compelling. Similarly, libertarian municipalism, with its emphasis on direct democracy, decentralization, and the abolition of hierarchy, resonated with his evolving political vision. These influences led Öcalan to develop the concept of democratic confederalism. In essence, he envisioned a system of governance that is directly democratic, ecologically responsible, and fiercely committed to gender equality. Unlike a traditional state system, democratic confederalism emphasizes local autonomy, with power distributed among grassroots assemblies and cooperative institutions. Öcalan's ideas were not just theoretical. They were put into practice in the Kurdish regions of Syria, where they formed the basis of a new social and political order. This Kurdish experiment in democratic confederalism has been seen as a beacon of hope by many, offering a viable alternative to both capitalist modernity and religious fundamentalism. So from a prison cell in Turkey, a new political ideology was born. But how did it make its way to the USA? From the mountains of Kurdistan to the streets of America, democratic confederalism has found its way into U.S. activism. Democratic confederalism, a political philosophy that emphasizes direct democracy, gender equality, and ecological sustainability, has left its mark on various social movements across the United States. This concept, rooted in the ideas of collective decision-making and community autonomy, has influenced the landscape of American activism, shaping the strategies and approaches of numerous movements. One such movement is Occupy Wall Street. Emerging in 2011, Occupy Wall Street represented a significant turning point in American activism. The movement, which fought against economic inequality and corporate influence in politics, embraced the principles of democratic confederalism. The protesters' use of general assemblies, a form of direct democratic decision-making, mirrors the communalist principles of democratic confederalism. This allowed for a more inclusive and egalitarian form of decision-making, where everyone's voice was heard and consensus was sought. Similarly, the Black Lives Matter movement, which has been at the forefront of the fight against systemic racism and police brutality, has shown traces of democratic confederalism. The movement's decentralized structure, where local chapters have significant autonomy to address issues specific to their communities, is reminiscent of the principles of democratic confederalism. It's a clear adoption of the idea that decisions should be made by those most affected by them. Moreover, the Black Lives Matter movement's emphasis on collective action and mutual aid aligns with the ethos of democratic confederalism. This is evident in the movement's efforts to provide community support, whether through food drives, educational programs, or neighborhood patrols. These initiatives underscore the movement's commitment to building strong, self-reliant communities, a key tenet of democratic confederalism. However, it's important to note that while these movements have adopted aspects of democratic confederalism, they have also adapted them to fit their unique contexts and objectives. They have taken the principles of direct democracy, collective decision-making, and community autonomy, and applied them in ways that address the specific challenges and needs of their communities. This dynamic interplay between democratic confederalism and American activism underscores the versatility and adaptability of this political philosophy. It demonstrates how its principles can be adopted and adapted to different contexts and struggles, making it a powerful tool for social change. So, we see a clear influence of democratic confederalism on American activism. But what are the key takeaways from this journey? Democratic confederalism, a concept born in a Turkish prison, has influenced activism across the globe, including in the United States. As we've seen, democratic confederalism is not just a political ideology, but a transformative wave that has been rippling across the globe. It originated from the mind of Abdullah Öcalan, a man who spent his time in a Turkish prison crafting a political theory that would inspire many. This theory, essentially a call for a decentralized, democratic, and ecological society, is founded on principles of equality and freedom. It calls for the establishment of autonomous regions, where communities have the power to govern themselves, and in which diverse cultures and languages are respected and preserved. It's a call for a form of governance that is closer to the people, more transparent, and more accountable. In the United States, the influence of democratic confederalism has been profound. It has been a catalyst for the resurgence of grassroots activism, inspiring a new generation of activists to challenge the status quo and advocate for change. It has fueled movements that strive for social justice, environmental sustainability, and democratic reforms. Examples abound, from the Occupy Wall Street movement that sought to highlight economic inequality to the Black Lives Matter movement that fights against systemic racism. Moreover, democratic confederalism has been instrumental in reshaping the dialogue around democracy itself. It has encouraged a rethinking of the concept, leading to a broader understanding that goes beyond just casting votes. It has brought to light the idea that democracy also involves participatory decision-making, community involvement, and the decentralization of power. But democratic confederalism's influence doesn't end there. It has potential implications for the future of activism, both within the United States and globally. As we grapple with challenges such as climate change, social inequality, and political polarization, the principles of democratic confederalism could serve as a guide, steering us towards a more egalitarian, sustainable, and democratic future. In essence, democratic confederalism presents an alternative model of governance, one that challenges the traditional nation-state system. It's a model that prioritizes community, diversity, and ecology, and one that equips citizens with the tools to actively participate in the democratic process. In conclusion, the influence of democratic confederalism on activism, especially within the United States, cannot be overstated. It has sparked new dialogues, inspired movements, and challenged our perceptions of democracy. As we move forward into an uncertain future, the principles of democratic confederalism could very well serve as a guiding light, illuminating the path towards a more democratic, equitable, and sustainable world. As we move forward, it's worth contemplating how democratic confederalism might shape the future of activism, not just in the US, but globally.